This 13 trillion scam starts with fragmented data.
Manual systems.
Automated code is the fix.
This chart compares the retail cost of basic goods with the prices paid by the Department of Correctional Services. For a single liter of cooking oil, you'd usually pay 30 Rand. Under Contract H04 of 2023, the department paid 726 Rand. Gravy powder spiked from 900 Rand to over 3,700. These inflated rates appeared on contracts from 115 different suppliers, utilizing the same 2,400% markup to systematically drain the public purse. Under the Public Finance Management Act, South African law strictly prohibits politicians from interfering with the tender process. The ministers do not sit in the supply chain offices, approving individual line items on food contracts. That responsibility rests with internal supply chain managers and contract officials. Their primary duty is to verify that a quoted price matches market rates before they sign off on a transaction. This raises a critical question. How does an exorbitant markup bypass every manual internal check? And what finally triggers a real audit? A single inflated receipt points to a catastrophic systemic absence of automated oversight. When manual checks fail, the entire public supply chain becomes a target. Public procurement is a $13 trillion sector. Because these departments often rely on fragmented paper trails, they represent a global vulnerability zone for fraud and price manipulation. In many instances, the political response to these scandals involve denial or delay. We've seen officials go as far as offering journalists envelopes of cash to keep investigative reports out of the media. Minister Peter Groenewald took a different approach with the correctional services scandal. He took immediate ownership of the problem, standing before Parliament to acknowledge the failure of the internal controls. Instead of issuing a press release, he moved directly to renegotiation, forcing suppliers to lower their prices and launching an investigation into the officials who signed the original contracts. The mechanical difference between a cover-up and a functioning government is the willingness to expose internal blind spots to rigorous data forensics. The review of 4,600 transactions now underway maps exactly where the internal procurement controls failed. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime provides the global blueprint for securing these funds through the Convention Against Corruption. Their guidelines focus on moving away from trust and toward verification. The first step is digitalization. Because you cannot audit what you cannot track, the framework requires a transition from paper invoices to integrated e-procurement systems. Once the data is digital, the system can use automated red flagging. An algorithm instantly cross-references every submitted line item against current market rates. If a price exceeds the standard threshold by even 5%, the system locks the contract, preventing any further progress until a human auditor clears the alert. The third step involves beneficial ownership cross-referencing. Algorithms check supplier IDs against databases of politically exposed persons to uncover hidden connections. This makes it impossible for officials to secretly funnel money to shell companies owned by their own relatives or associates. Adopting these digital tools removes human temptation. It shifts procurement from a trust-based honor system to a transparency system enforced by code. The results of the correctional services audit are tangible. 2,400 officials have faced discipline, and 4,600 transactions are being picked apart by auditors. But the ultimate defense against procurement fraud is reducing the need for external suppliers in the first place. Launching 12 internal bakeries and agricultural projects within the facilities has already saved the state over 200 million Rand, cutting out compromised private contractors. Fighting corruption cannot rely solely on punishing people after the public funds have already disappeared. True systemic resilience requires building an environment where a 2,400% markup isn't just illegal, it is algorithmically and physically impossible.
I am glad that AI documentary educate, inform, and inspire people about real-world issues.